T to the V to the L to the I to the N to the E, TVLine.
Welcome, Banshee.
Thank you.
Before we get started, I just wanted to say, Anthony and Ivana, you were awesome in the finale.
Oh, thank you.
What an incredible hour of television. And I'm curious, what was it like sort of going from era to era and, you know, with the wigs and just all of the different time changes?
They do a pretty good job of making it quick and seamless because we got my wig down to a science, so it was really quick. But I will say about shooting the finale that I was really tired by the end of it. Were you
Yeah.
dead by then? I was taking naps in between takes.
Yes, you
remember?
were. You were. Everyone had to tiptoe around the sleeping princess. I'm joking. No. Look, we were all pretty drained.
Yes,
It was the
by
end of the
then.
season, but I think the quality of the material kept everyone invested and everyone on point, and we want to finish with a bang. It's a show that moves at 100 miles an hour, and we didn't want to take our foot off the gas at the last minute and disappoint.
Jonathan, where do you find a church that allows you to desecrate its premises like that?
It was actually really hard. We looked at a lot of churches in Manhattan. We definitely wanted to shoot in Manhattan, and we looked at a lot of churches, and they all come with different rules. And everything that we destroyed in that church, we built in that church. We didn't ever touch anything that belonged to the church, and that church was sort of in a little bit of disuse anyway.
It was in Harlem, right?
It was in Harlem, and it was in a great neighborhood, but that church itself had seen better times. So we built a lot of fake pews, and we built stuff we could blow up, and
I think
they were fine with it.
From what I heard as well, they appreciate. It wasn't a massively high socioeconomic area, so I think they appreciated the money that we could offer to rent the place out.
Moving into season 3, what is it like for Carrie and Lucas without the threat of Rabbit hovering over them? And I guess this is for Jonathan too. It feels like it's almost in some ways going to be a different show.
Yeah, and that was a challenge for us. We knew we didn't want the Rabbit threat to stretch out over 5 or 6 seasons, and at the same time, there was something very organic about the Lucas, Carrie, Rabbit threat. And so the guys on either side of me sort of step in to kick it up a few notches from what we had. Proctor's been a threat from season 1, and then we introduced Chayton in season 2, and bringing him back in a big way in season 3 means we keep a lot of different threats alive.
Chayton and Proctor, who's the bigger nemesis for Lucas moving into season 3?
Well, I think Lucas's nemesis globally is always going to be Proctor. But in season 3, we play with that a bit, where these two baddies don't necessarily like each other, and we do some unexpected things with that.
What does his return mean for the town and for the tribe?
Well, I think Chayton's motivating force really is the fact that he understands now that he can't actually grab back as much as he wants. So he's going to take what he can.
Anthony, what's keeping Lucas in town now? Is it the fact that he knows he has this daughter?
That's something that's always going to keep him anchored to the town, as well as the relationship that's been developing over the last 2 seasons on the side of this one with Deputy Kelly, the young brunette.
Delicious
on the show,
Deputy Kelly.
Yeah, she's fantastic, and so it's a very new place that we find Lucas in when we come back to season 3, and you're right to identify there's no threat of Rabbit anymore. So the big question is, what does that mean for a guy who's lived with 17 years of threat? All of a sudden, that's diminished.
What was going through Lucas's mind after he watched Rabbit commit suicide? He had a moment there.
I think it was that moment of realization. when you've been so focused on. I mean, I've had these moments. We probably all had them when you're so single-minded and myopic in your view of what you want to achieve or what you're setting out to do, and then you realize that you've achieved that goal, and that it's that what's next moment, which can be a really daunting prospect, like you're looking down into the abyss, really, when your life has been so single-minded.
Lastly, Jonathan, any new interesting casting for the season that you can share?
We see a little bit more of this cast in ways you wouldn't expect. We had a great turn from Dennis O'Hare, who came in and did an episode with us, and more than that, I don't actually want to say right now, but yeah, we've definitely got some interesting guest stars.
Any big action set pieces that you can tease?
I have some cuts and bruises.
Yeah.
We
See the shiner?
Oh, nice.
That's real, man.
No, but there's one. I don't want to give it away. There's one fight I'm really fond of that happens on an empty interstate and in a very different way than anyone would expect, that I think came out really well.
What I will say about season 3 is that it shifts slightly. You know, it's more than ever. This is probably intentional. We just haven't talked about it, but
Yeah.
it's very much like a western. It's like a modern western.
Well, it was. I mean, the show was very
always
conceived
was.
as a modern.
Yeah,
like,
but never so much through the action sequences as it is in season 3.
Probably, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like it's much more. I mean, we have arrows, we have bows and
Yes.
arrows. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it really does get into a Cowboys and Indians sort of setup, which is kind of exciting, and it's been a lot of fun to shoot.
And I ride a horse. I can say that, right?
Ulrich rides a horse.
a white
When
horse.
do you ride a horse?
Oh, many times.
Was that your first time riding a horse?
No, that was a joke.
Oh, I was gonna say.
That was
You
for
gotta
comedy.
watch him.
something.
He's such a cad, eh?